Right now, while you're watching this, there's a war being waged inside your skull. And you're losing. Billion-dollar corporations have spent decades reverse engineering your brain, finding every weak point, every vulnerability, every psychological backdoor. And they've turned your own mind into their personal ATM. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how they're doing it. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to fight back. But I have to warn you, once you see this, you can never unsee it. It is something that's going to keep you up tonight. The average American spends over $300,000 on things they never needed. Not wanted. Never. Needed. That's not a house. That's not college tuition. That's pure waste. Money that evaporated because of psychological triggers you didn't even know existed. And here's what makes it even worse, these triggers aren't random. They're not accidents. They're precision-engineered weapons aimed directly at the most vulnerable parts of your psyche. Developed by teams of neuroscientists, behavioral economists, and former casino designers. The same people who figured out how to keep gamblers glued to slot machines are now designing your shopping experience. And they have one goal, to separate you from your money before your rational brain even knows what happened. But why does this work? What's actually broken inside our heads? That answer requires us to go back about 200,000 years. Your brain evolved for a world that no longer exists. 200,000 years ago, our ancestors faced constant scarcity. Food was uncertain. Shelter was temporary. Survival meant grabbing resources whenever they appeared because tomorrow they might be gone. So your brain developed what scientists call loss aversion. The pain of losing something is literally twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining it. This was brilliant for survival. If you found berries, you ate them all. If you found a safe cave, you defended it with your life. But here's the problem. We're still running that same ancient software in a world of infinite abundance. When you see a flash sale ending in 2 hours, your primitive brain doesn't see a marketing gimmick. It sees survival. It sees scarcity. It screams at you, grab it now or lose it forever. And that's just the first of 7 triggers being weaponized against you. But let me stop here for a second. Because what I'm about to tell you changed everything I thought I knew about money. I used to think overspending was a willpower problem. That people who blew their budgets just needed more discipline. I was completely wrong. And that misconception kept me broke for years. The truth is, willpower is a finite resource. It's like a muscle that gets tired. By the end of a typical day, your willpower reserves are nearly depleted. Which is exactly why online shopping peaks between 8 p.m. and midnight. Retailers know this. They know that when you're tired, when your defenses are down, your ancient brain takes the wheel. And your ancient brain doesn't care about your credit card statement. It only cares about one thing, acquiring resources right now. This is trigger number 2, decision fatigue. And companies deliberately overwhelm you with choices all day specifically to exhaust your willpower before the real sales pitch. Now let's talk about something even more sinister. Trigger number 3, the dopamine loop. Every notification, every like, every email announcing a sale creates a tiny hit of dopamine in your brain. But here's what most people don't understand, dopamine isn't about pleasure. It's about anticipation. It's about wanting, not having. Your brain releases more dopamine while you're shopping than after you've bought the item. That's why the excitement of buying something almost always exceeds the satisfaction of owning it. And retailers have turned this into an endless cycle. They send you notifications about items in your cart. Flash sales ending soon. New arrivals in your size. AH1 creating anticipation. AH1 training your brain to associate their brand with dopamine release. Over time, shopping becomes less about what you need and more about chasing that neurochemical high. You're not buying products anymore. You're buying feelings. And those feelings never last. Trigger number 4 might be the most disturbing of all. It's called social proof, and it's been weaponized like never before in human history. See, for hundreds of thousands of years, copying what others did kept us alive. If everyone in your tribe avoided certain berries, you avoided them too. If everyone ran, you ran. This instinct is so powerful that psychologists discovered something terrifying: people will deny their own direct observations to match group consensus. In famous experiments, participants claimed a clearly shorter line was longer just because everyone else said so. Now imagine this instinct being exploited by algorithms. Bestseller tags. Trending now banners. 5,000 people are looking at this item. 4.8 stars from 12,000 reviews. These aren't just statistics. They redirect hijacks of your tribal programming. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how this connects to something even bigger. Something that explains why some people seem immune to these tricks while others fall for them every single time. But here's the thing. Everything I've told you so far? That's just the surface. Those are the triggers most people have heard about in some form. What I'm about to reveal next is what separates people who know about this stuff from people who actually break free from it. Because trigger number 5 isn't just something companies use against you. It's something you do to yourself. Every single day. And when I finally understood this one, I stopped bleeding money almost overnight. It's called pain of paying, and the reason it's so dangerous is because modern payment systems have almost completely eliminated it. Think about it. When you hand someone physical cash, your brain registers real discomfort. Neurons associated with pain actually fire. But swipe a card? Tap your phone? Click a button? That pain signal is almost entirely silenced. Studies show people spend up to 83% more when using cards versus cash. 83%. That's not a minor difference. That's a complete rewiring of your financial behavior. And it gets worse. Trigger number 6 is called anchoring, and once you see it, you'll notice it everywhere. It is how it works. The first number you see in any negotiation or purchase becomes your reference point. Everything after that gets compared to it. Retailers exploit this by showing you the original price crossed out next to the sale price. That original price is often completely fabricated. Nobody ever paid it. But your brain doesn't care. It sees $400 marked down to $150 and screams deal. Even if that item is worth $80. Even if you didn't need it at all. But here's where anchoring gets truly sinister. Premium pricing. Luxury brands deliberately price certain items astronomically high not because they expect to sell them but because those prices make their regular expensive items look reasonable by comparison. That $12,000 handbag exists so the $3,000 one feels like a steal. And your logical brain knows this is absurd. But your anchored brain doesn't care. The reference point is already set. And this brings us to trigger number 7. The one that ties everything together. The one that explains why you can know all of this and still overspend anyway. It's called identity spending. And it's the most powerful force in consumer psychology. Here's the brutal truth: we don't buy products. We buy identities. Every purchase is a statement about who we are or who we want to become. That gym membership isn't about fitness. It's about being a fitness person. Those designer clothes aren't about fabric. They're about being perceived as successful. That subscription box isn't about the products. It's about being the kind of person who deserves little luxuries. Marketers know this. Every advertisement isn't selling you a product. It's selling you a version of yourself. A better, happier, more complete version that's only one purchase away. And your brain, desperate for that upgraded identity, opens your wallet again and again. Chasing a self-image that can never be bought. This is why people earning 6 figures still feel broke. They're not spending on things. They're spending on who they're trying to become. Now stop. I need you to actually absorb what I just said. Because this is where most financial advice completely fails. They tell you to create budgets. Track expenses. Use cash envelopes. And that stuff works for about 3 weeks until you forget why you started. Because those solutions treat the symptoms, not the disease. The disease is this: your spending is an expression of unmet psychological needs. Until you address those needs, you will always find ways to overspend. New apps won't save you. New budgets won't save you. Even earning more money won't save you. Research shows that as income increases, spending increases at nearly the same rate. People earning $500,000 feel just as financially stressed as people earning $50,000. Different numbers. Same psychology. Same triggers firing. Same identity gaps being filled with purchases. So what actually works? What do the people who break free do differently? That answer comes down to 3 mental shifts that sound simple but change everything. Mental shift number 1, separate your identity from your purchases. This sounds abstract, but here's how to make it concrete. Before any non-essential purchase, ask yourself one question: if no one ever saw me with this item, would I still want it? This single question exposes identity spending instantly. That watch nobody will notice. Those issues for your closet, not for compliments. That car you drive alone. When you strip away the social performance, you discover what you actually value versus what you're buying for an audience. Mental shift number 2, create friction intentionally. Remember pain of paying? You can rebuild it. Remove saved credit cards from websites. Implement a 48-hour rule for anything over $50. Require yourself to physically write down purchases before making them. Every barrier you add is a moment for your rational brain to catch up to your emotional brain. And mental shift number 3, this is the big one. Mental shift number 3, define your enough. Every trigger I showed you today exploits the same fundamental vulnerability. The sense that you don't have enough. That you aren't enough. That something is missing that can be purchased. But here's what I learned after years of studying wealthy people who are actually happy. They all did one thing that broke the spending cycle permanently. They defined their enough in concrete terms. Not big ideas like financial freedom or comfortable life. Specific numbers. Specific positions. Specific experiences. When you define what enough actually looks like, something incredible happens. You stop chasing. You stop comparing. You stop filling infinite holes with finite purchases. That $300,000 in wasted spending I mentioned at the start? It doesn't happen to people who have defined their enough. Because they know what they're building toward. They know when to stop. They've drawn a finish line. And everything beyond it is just noise trying to pull them back into the race. This is the real psychology of overspending. It's not about weakness. It's about running a race with no finish line. So where does this leave you? You now understand what 99% of people never will about their own minds. You know about loss aversion, decision fatigue, the dopamine loop, social proof, pain of paying, anchoring, and identity spending. You know the 3 mental shifts that actually work. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. So here's what I want you to do. Tonight, before you go to sleep, write down one sentence. Use when. Complete this statement: I have enough when blank. Don't overthink it. Use write what comes to mind. Then look at that sentence every time you're about to make a purchase. Watch what happens to your spending over the next 30 days. eBay seen this simple exercise save people thousands of dollars. Not because it's magic. But because it interrupts the triggers at the source. It gives your rational brain the finish line your emotional brain desperately needs. The corporations spending billions to hack your psychology don't want you to have that finish line. They want you running forever. Now you have a choice. If this video changed how you think about money, hit subscribe because next week I'm exposing the specific language tricks advertisers use to bypass your defenses completely. It's even darker than what we covered today. Now I'm curious, which of the 7 triggers surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments. And if you know someone still running that endless race, send them this video. It might be the finish line they never knew they needed.